Beginning of the year, we have seen shocking headlines such as Cascade Reserve dropped 20% in price and the residents at W Singapore Sentosa Cove dropped 40%. With new launches priced at all-time high and over 40 new launches in 2024, how can you safeguard your purchase during uncertain time like this? And how do you know if the developer will reduce or increase their prices? Hello everyone, I'm Christina and welcome back to my channel. If you are a buyer today and unsure whether to purchase or wait to see if the price will change, this video is for you. Today, you will learn how to minimize your risk when purchasing a new launch property, and I will be using two examples to cover three essential key points to determine whether a developer would increase or lower their price. The first key factor is to consider the percentage of units sold since its launch. Many new launches follow these three phases, with Phase 1 at about 60% sold, and Phase 2 at 60 to 90% sold, and lastly, Phase 3 with more than 90% sold. For example, let's use Treasure at Tampines, which was launched back in March 2019. It is a 99 years leasehold property located in Tampines with a total of 2,203 units. During its launch, only 12% of its units was sold. Given that this is a mega project, would you have the confidence to purchase a unit here? Probably not. Fast forward to September 2020, in just 1.5 years into its Phase 1, Treasure and Tampines has already sold about 67% of its inventory. By now, the developer was very confident of its sale, and for its remaining units, it was priced for profit with minimum chances of price reductions. Fair enough, we saw that from October 2020, the average PSF increased at a steady pace till it is fully sold. Besides understanding the new launch phases, it is also important to monitor the consistency of the units sold, which brings us to the second key point, and that is to examine the sales performance of the project, drill down to its monthly units sold in the development. Looking at Treasure at Tampines, sales back in 2020, with a consistency of 50 to 90 units sold every month, it is highly unlikely that developer would drop its price. Like many profit-driven businesses, by understanding the way they work, we can predict their pricing strategy. Put yourself in the developer's shoes, knowing that your product is highly sought after and have sold many units consistently. Would you want to lower your price? I believe you wouldn't want to do that. On the other hand, if the project is not selling well, developer may choose to lower price provided there is a margin to work on. But how do we determine the margin? And what is the baseline of the margin? This brings us to the last key point, the break-even price. When the developer acquires the land for development, factoring all the costs involved such as land, construction, financing, tax, marketing, professional, and legal fee, they will be able to determine their break-even price. Like any other businesses, developer would need to secure loan from the bank to kickstart the project. Generally, to avoid making any losses, bank would list down a few conditions for the developer. First, they will need to sell a percentage of units by a stipulated date. Second, they must ensure the average PSF will always be above the break-even price to ensure healthy profit in the long run. For example, Sky Habitat, a 99 years leasehold property located at Bishan with a total of 509 units, was launched back in April 2012. We can see that the break-even price was about 1,004 PSF and its sales volume was consistent, achieving about 30% units sold by the end of 2012, in just 8 months after its launch. In January 2013, when Singapore government imposed new cooling measures to tighten the limit of the approved housing loan and increase ABSD from 5% to 7%, and this would apply to all Singaporeans purchasing their second property and all PR purchasing their first property. With these cooling measures, it affected most of the buyer affordability and resulted in immediate zero sales for the 2 months, and for the whole of 2013, only 5% of the unit was sold. With that alarming drop on sales, developer had no choice but to start reducing its price in second half of 2014 on an average of 1,004 PSF to entice the buyer. However, you can see that even with this drastic sales drop, developer average PSF sticks close to its break-even price. From these two examples, we can see that it's very common for many buyers to feel safe to enter the market during the initial phase, thinking that it is early bird pricing. However, this initial phase can be uncertain and you might still be buying at a high price. To reduce risk, it would be safer to consider purchasing at a later phase because by then, you will have a clearer understanding of the project sales performance and the developer profit margin would still be reasonable. To summarize the three key factors, first is to find out the percentage of its units sold since its launch. Second, it's its consistency of units sold month on month. And lastly, the developer profit margin to know if you are entering at a reasonable price. Choosing the right property requires consideration of many other factors which I have not shared here. So if you are looking for customized plan, do feel free to reach out to me at my contact methods below and I will see you in my next video.